Hello and welcome back to Reason News. Today we're examining the escalating trade tensions between the US and China. As Trump imposes new tariffs on Chinese imports, many Chinese firms are adapting by shifting their operations to other countries. Let's dive into the strategic move and its implications for global trade. President Trump has recently doubled tariffs on Chinese imports to 20%, citing concerns over fentanyl and trade imbalances. However, this move has prompted China to retaliate with tariffs on US agricultural products, escalating the trade war. In response to these tariffs, Chinese companies are diversifying their operations by investing in countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, and India. This strategy allows them to avoid the financial burden of US tariffs while maintaining access to global markets.
China released its slew of countermeasures, pretty extensive this time round compared to the previous round in February. They're targeting up to 15% tariffs on a list of US goods. I'm just going to go through them very quickly. 10% on pork, beef, soybean, sorghum, fruits, vegetables, and dairy products. The one on soybean, of course, had been highly anticipated. And 15% tariffs on wheat, cotton, chicken, and corn. So all of these are agricultural commodities. I would say that they are largely still less than proportional to the scale of the US tariffs, because we're talking about 10 to 15% tariffs from China versus 20% from Trump if you count in the first 10% plus the second round of 10%. And you look at the scale of it, the range of the goods covered. US tariffs cover all Chinese goods, but the Chinese tariffs are targeting specific sectors, mainly the agricultural sector. So it's a clear message here. While it's impactful, but China is signaling that they are open to negotiation. That was as much what the NPC spokesperson said at the presser earlier, that they're hoping that they can resolve these trade issues through consultations. Now, aside from tariffs, China also targeted other non-tariff measures, including adding 10 firms to a US unreliable entity list, as well as prohibiting the sale of dual-use items to 15 US entities. And of course, one of their favorite methods, which is to file a complaint to the WTO as well.
This shift has significant implications for the global economy. By expanding operations in other countries, Chinese firms can bypass US tariffs and maintain competitiveness in the global market. This investment could boost economic growth in countries like Vietnam and Indonesia, creating new opportunities for local industries. The effectiveness of Trump's tariffs in achieving their intended goals is being questioned as Chinese firms adapt by relocating production. Here's a video from CBS showing us this strategic move.
China has already found a way around U.S. tariffs on imports.
Anna Corrin reports China is exporting its factories.
A 2-hour drive outside the Cambodian capital Phnom Penh, a convoy of semi-trailers passed by.
Let's drive straight through.
Moments later, an enormous arch greeted us with signage in 2 languages, the local language Khmer and beneath Chinese. But it's very clear who is in charge of this special economic zone rising from the dirt.
Hello, sir. Hello?
The manager of this furniture factory invited us in.
Okay, thank you.
They moved here from China a month ago to produce ottomans to export to the United States.
Most of the companies coming here are Chinese.
Yes.
And their driving incentive to avoid US tariffs. The US-China trade war is the main reason for this explosion of Chinese investment in Cambodia. In 2016, before President Trump took office, Cambodian exports to the US were roughly $3 billion. Last year, they topped $12 billion, representing nearly 30% of the country's GDP. The Cambodian government says more than half of the factories in Cambodia are Chinese-owned.
To America.
Yes.
While Chinese companies are skirting US tariffs, economists we spoke to say they are playing by the rules. But there are fears Cambodia's economy could become collateral damage.
Meanwhile, following President Donald Trump's imposition of 25% tariffs on Canadian goods, Canada has announced a 2-pronged response. This includes immediate 25% tariffs on $30 billion worth of US goods, targeting items like poultry, beef, textiles and furniture. An additional $125 billion in tariffs could follow after a 21-day consultation period. Canada's strategy focuses on products from Republican-led states such as Florida oranges and Ohio-made appliances. Ontario Premier Doug Ford and other Canadian leaders have hinted at cutting off energy exports to the US, including crude oil, natural gas and electricity. Canada currently supplies 60% of US crude oil imports and 98% of its natural gas imports. Here's a video.
President Trump ran on a mandate to create more jobs, keep inflation and low and lower cost. It's going to work totally opposite. Plants will close down within a week. Assembly plants in Michigan, which is a red state. Manufacturing will stop. And the people of the U.S., which I absolutely love, the American people, they're going to be paying more. The market is going to go downhill faster than the American bobsled team. It's going to be an absolute disaster for both countries. We're your largest trading partner. I don't want to respond, but we will respond like they've never seen before. You need our uranium, you need our potash, you need our high-grade nickel. I will stockpile our high-grade nickel that 50% of your military and manufacturing needs. Your aluminum, the steel, the lumber. It will be an absolute disaster. And this is all due to one person, that's President Trump. I have talked to endless governors, Republican governors and Democrats, senators and Congress people. I love the U.S. I lived there for 20 years. They're all saying this is the craziest thing that someone could ever do.
Experts warn that reciprocal tariffs could push both countries toward recession, disrupt cross-border trade and raise inflation. In Canada, inflation could exceed 7% and unemployment may approach 8% by year-end if the situation escalates. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has promised a forceful but reasonable response to protect Canadian jobs and industries. He emphasized that everything is on the table until the tariffs are removed. This escalating trade war marks a significant shift in US, Canada and China relations, with all sides bracing for economic and political fallout. Thank you for watching Reason News. Until next time, stay informed, curious and updated.